Hey Gears, Mystic here, and today is the start of Era Zero. And today is also basically going to be my demo debut, because this is more or less just a general concept for my virtual YouTuber. Um, so today is all about pretty much an introduction to, well, me. Um, so if you do send any messages, I might not read them or respond because I'm focusing on trying to present this presentation I made. I worked so hard near the end of the year to complete this, at least to a state that I was okay with, because my perfectionism is, well, it gets in the way of stuff. So this is going to be basically a culmination. I don't know if that's a word, but like all of my hard work. And I'm excited to show it. And only the presentation is only a small part of it. So let's start with basic introduction stuff. Um, my name is, well, I guess it's most people just call me Static, mostly because that's the first thing they notice about my screen. My serial number is 000-307-111-36-1582-14-110, or 10. I am a model. My model is the human Rubik's Hexagon Bolt 5, and I really like it because it has the typical oxygen filtration unit. It has Rubik's surveillance tracking to keep me safe, even digital vision that helps me with, well, basically being digital in my everyday life and makes everything more or less like easily for me to be distracted, but at the same time, like I very enjoy having various things up in my vision, I suppose. Um, but that's how most models go anyway. It's even equipped with an eternal temperature module that actually keeps my head nice and comfortable in terms of temperature for the most part. Um, and I think my favorite part is the facial frame augmentation because it helps me emote better and it actually like moves with my face as I speak, or at least at the very least it's like connected to my eyebrow, so it's like a little easier to tell what I'm emoting most of the time, even though those kinds of things are kind of hard for me. In any case, I also have a few modifications, which is stimuli alteration, which basically just means I can basically turn the brightness down and like kind of like make stuff around me mute or like adjust as to like equal myself out so I don't get like, I guess the word would be overstimulated, but we'll talk on that more later. My equipment is supplied by Nodeware Adaptable Temperature because it's crazy out there. So, it's this specialty clothing that can actually adjust temperature from hot to cold depending on the day, considering how unpredictable it really is. So, yeah. As for my origin details of my universe, I'm 22 and my blood type is A positive, and I'm about 5'6" or 167 centimeters, which is kind of annoying because I want to be a little taller, but I just don't think that's ever going to change. So, kind of have to accept it. I'm also a little bit on the heavier side with a weight of 230 pounds last I checked, which is weird because for the longest time it's been 240, but I don't know. I just haven't been eating as much, I guess. Um, I only speak in English because I don't know, it's just how I was raised, so I only know that language. I know a little bit of French and maybe Spanish, but that's from like childhood like shows. And I wouldn't say that's an actual skill in terms of me because I mean, I wasn't studying the language or anything. My birthday is on April 25th, making me a Taurus, and fun fact, I was born on a Wednesday, I think. Anyway, my occupation currently is just a humble cafeteria dishwasher. I work part time or full time. I forgot. I forgot what full the difference between full time and part time, but I do have a job. So I think that's important. I really like the job because it's therapeutic and I just get to think about things all day while I wash dishes, which is stimulating enough that it's not too boring or annoying, I guess, or social for that matter, but I very much enjoy it. As for the premise, well, today I found a USB key and I don't know, I was confused for a second because who would leave their USB key on the sidewalk? So I picked it up and it was literally addressed to me and that freaked me out because when I looked around, no one was around. So I have no idea what to do about that, but I had to know what was on it. So I went home and I plugged it into my back panel, and well, now I'm here, which I don't really know what it is. It kind of seems like a dream, but I couldn't tell you. So I'm still trying to figure out what's happening, but I'll vibe with it because my curiosity is making me like, ooh, I'm kind of curious about how this will go down because I don't think it's like a drug or something. It's clearly like some kind of programming thing that's more or less attached itself to my helmet, maybe? But I'm still figuring that out. So, yeah, here I am, just kind of like floating and staring through maybe a different universe. I'm not really sure yet, though. As for my interests, I happen to be very much into environmentalism because, well, I like nature to a point. I may not be like one of those excessive hikers or anything, but I really do like the concept of the earth and its processes, though I'm not really able to see much of it considering. I'm also very much into philosophy, which I don't know most of the like general terms or like special terms for it, but I definitely am interested in the different kinds of ways in which we think because it's like very existential and all that. And knowing me, I just like thinking about humanity and stuff. I also really like rocks. Um, Again, I'm not really like particular about it. It's just the idea of it. I like geology. I like crystals and rocks. Okay, those things are shiny. I like shiny things. Okay, it's as simple as that. I also very much enjoy mental health because well, it affects all of us, whether we like it or not. And I don't like how, for the longest time, and even to this day, it's still more or less used as an excuse to not do anything, which I don't think is true for the most part. I know for absolute certainty that some people would use that as an excuse, but I just don't think it's an excuse for the mass majority of people. So it's just like I want to embrace mental health and I want to be able to be supportive as much as I can at least. Um I'm also very interested in politics, though to be clear, I'm not going to be that type of I guess mind wanderer where I literally just like rant about random things. Um because frankly, I don't do enough research and I don't like making statements of things I believe in simply because it would just cause distress to others and such. And I really don't like dividing people because it's just become so, I don't know, like, I guess toxic or hostile at best. Like we can't even disagree anymore, and that always upsets me because yes, I have certain ideas that I'm passionate about, but I'm more than open to civilly like learning and hearing the other side of things. But when it's so hostile and we're not allowed to do it, it kind of upsets me a little bit. I'm also interested in internet drama, but again, like politics, I'm not going to outwardly seek it out or probably make any media on it simply because I don't want the heat. I don't want to cause any bad vibes, I guess. I'm just not really into like I'm into watching the drama. I'm into being like, "Ooh, girl, that's the tea," like that kind of thing, but I'm just not into fully like trying to be a part of it, commentate on it, or things like that. But I don't know, maybe it could change in the future, but honestly, I'm just going to focus on simply observing it. I might mention it, but I don't think I'll like commentate and make videos and such media on it per se. Ironically, I'm trying to get more into fashion because for the longest time, fashion has just kind of been a thing I don't care about. And I know a lot of other people don't care about it, but I know a lot of other people do. But for me, I'm just very used to like very basic clothes, very basic colors and designs. And I think I might have a style of clothing that I'm into, but I don't know the technical terms and I'm not like an expert or anything, but I just think I could be fairly I feel like if I were to make my own clothes in terms of like just designing them, I think that would be kind of fun. But I have a very graphic style, so I don't think many people would like it, but you never know. Um, but yeah, I want to try and get into it more. As another one of my big interests, though, is actually culture in general and social expectations between them. And it kind of ties in with philosophy because culture influences philosophy, in my opinion, in that like it kind of like bounces off each other. Um, so I like to consider and think about how it affects people because I feel like I don't hit a lot of the social expectations of my my universe as it were because I think we just put too much expectations on ourselves at this point and I'm trying to work on letting those go to be honest because I do not care. But at the same time I do. For example, driving, like I don't know. I guess I have this weird assumption that I should be more than able to drive, but I'm scared to drive still. I do have a driver's license, but I'm scared to drive. Um and the expectation is when you're like a teenager, you get a car and stuff, but it also is like you realize the type of economy we're in and it's kind of just like harder to do that and much harder for other people to do that. So, like things like that. I just like thinking about a lot of different stuff. It's just fun. I'm going to take a drink real quick. Okay. We're going to start with things I dislike. All right. So, first on the list, bright lights, okay? Especially the like fluorescent, very loud humming ones. I do not like bright lights like that. I also don't like spotlights. Do not put me in a spotlight. I don't like them. I just don't. I also really don't like long days because it feels like it drags on forever and I just don't like that. But at the same time, I don't like short days. Like, I just want normal time perception to be honest. Um, though I am okay with like if it's like when you get in that flow and you look at the clock and it's suddenly 4 hours later, best feeling. Especially when you're doing something you love. I don't like lotion simply because I just don't like the feeling of that kind of thing on my skin. I just don't. But I have to sometimes, at least recently, because my hands were getting very cracked up and dry from how dry it is out there. So, I also don't like vegetables because I can't identify any vegetable that I'd be actually willing to eat in my free time on my own by my own free will, like I just can't. I just can't with vegetables. Um Burnout, I don't like feeling exhausted. I like being stimulated in doing something for long periods of time for the most part, or I try to. But burnout is natural too. But I just do not like it on the basis that it's like it just really drains you and it kind of takes away all motivation and it just sucks. Same with stress cuz like stress shuts me down. Like quite literally shuts me down. I do not like it. Um I also don't really like dry and bitter foods simply because of how it tastes, I guess. Like don't get me wrong, like I'll still eat some stuff like what's the word I'll eat like biscuits for example and shit, but like I don't like bitter or dry foods typically, but I would probably give it a shot. Another one of the things I dislike is illogical concepts simply because it has to have some logic. Like I can't comprehend things that don't have some line of logic to it. Like I need to have some kind of reason to believe it. Like even if it's like very simple, I just need it to have some version of logic to it. Um, I also really don't like social isolation. Like I do not like it. Um, Mostly due to my past, but that can come later. Maybe another day. Um, I don't like the isolation of being around a lot of people and feeling isolated because I don't like feeling alone. Feeling alone is like the worst feeling ever. And I know I'm not the only one that feels that way, you know? So, I mean, if you're one of those, feel free to join me. um, Another thing I don't like is tight clothes. Like, I never understood the point of tight clothes other than, like, I guess it's like suffering to look beautiful or something, but I can't get into it. I do not like it. I also can't stand phone calls. Maybe that's dating myself or putting me in a box, but I just don't like phone calls. I don't know if it's just a lack of like me not being social on phone or not, but I just don't like phone calls. They give me anxiety. Like I'll do it if I have to, but like I just don't like doing it. I just don't, but I know I have to. So I'm working on that, but I will never understand phone calls. Like in this age, honestly, I'd prefer texting or just like chatting on my PC. You know what I mean? It's just easier to type my feelings out because it actually gives me time to think. While on the phone, it's kind of like you're on the spot and you even struggle to figure out what the tone of voice is, you know? So it's just a lot. I also hate overstimulation a lot, mostly because it comes from the burnout and stress kind of mixed together or long days. In that, if I do have so much on my plate that I can't stop thinking about, my brain basically like shuts down and I just can't do anything about it. Like, as much, no matter how hard I want to do something, it just will not happen. Like, I have to at least take a nap to even like reboot essentially. I also don't really like reading, but um I want to get into it, but I just my attention can't do it. You have to stimulate me when I'm and I can't do it when I read. And I also just don't like reading simply because of how I was raised in a system where I was kind of forced to read. Like I get it. You were trying to teach me how to read, obviously, but forcing me to do something just made me more motivated not to care or do it. So it's mostly an intention thing, and I'm not against anyone that reads, like at all. Like, honestly, that is a power move. You would be great in an apocalypse because you don't have to worry about the internet as much. Like, you'll have something to entertain yourself, I think. But, yeah, I do want to try getting into reading, but I just don't think I can really personally. As for medicine, I don't like medicine unless I have to take it. Which I kind of do, but at the same time, like I do like Tums. Like Tums is like my favorite like medicine only because it tastes like candy. But don't eat it like candy. It's not candy. Don't do it, guys. But Tums are great. I think the the medicine I don't like the most is probably like cough medicine, or like, is it called Dayquil or Nyquil? Non-spawn, but anyway. All of this is non-spawn. Anything I mentioned is non-spawn, by the way. Um, I hate irresponsibility. Like, I hate people who will not take responsibility for their actions. Like, especially in cases that it's so very apparent that they're not taking responsibility. And I hope I spelled that right because I can't tell. Whew. I hope it is. Irresponsibility. That, I mean, that seems right. Okay. But anyway, I take responsibility for not spelling that right if I did. Anyway, um, I don't like people who don't take responsibility for stuff. Like, I guess I take it a little too easily. I tend to be kind of like a scapegoat, as it were. I kind of just pull the blame on myself all the time. I'm working on that as well. I don't like falling asleep because, well, that's when my mind just refuses to turn off, you know? Like, it takes a while for me to be like, okay, I'm sleeping now. Because it's like I want to catch myself in the process of falling asleep, but I can never do it. So, but it's mostly just my thoughts because that's where I overthink the most and I just want to sleep sometimes and my brain's just like, what about this? What about this? What about this? And that's annoying. Um I also really don't like loud chewing in general. Just please please don't chew loudly in the microphone, you know? Um I don't plan on eating on stream most of the time, but I would try not to do loud chewing because that's disgusting. And I don't think I have the thing that would like give me a panic attack if I heard loud chewing or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called, sorry. But it's just irritating to hear. I don't think it would like actually do too much. I would just be annoyed and maybe easily irritable from it. But like, I think it's more so just a pet peeve. I also really don't like sudden noises, so I don't like the cheap jump scares in like cheap horror games and whatnot. I just do not like the sudden noises simply because it puts me in panic mode, I guess, and I don't know. I just don't like feeling like something bad's going on because I typically am by default thinking something bad's going on, but I try not to do that because I know it's just anxiety. Um, I also do not like dishonesty in or lies simply because it's stupid and you will be caught in a lie more often than not. Don't get me wrong, I lie too, I'm sure, on multiple occasions, but like not for like actual serious things, like sneaking out of the house or doing something bad. You know what I mean? Like, just be honest about it because you will be found out if it's important enough. Okay, so I try not to lie, but I tend to lie mostly on how I'm feeling simply because I struggle to identify what I'm feeling. But yeah, and sharp frequencies is the worst thing ever because, especially in high school, I would just be eating in the hallways because I didn't feel safe in the cafeteria, considering multiple fears I had. I think you guys can guess. Um, but it sucked because these pair of like boys would walk down the hallway with their phone and they would have a frequency and they would come down over my like while I was eating and blast it really loud because they saw me react before to it and cover my ears. But I hate sharp frequencies. It is painful for me. I cannot stand it. Um, and honestly, it just reminds me of that instance where there was a brisk of people or some just mean people in the hallways just blaring it in my face to get a reaction out of me, like I was some kind of animal, and I hated it. Um, so I just really don't like sharp frequencies unless it's like unless I have to endure it for like a game moment or something. But overall, I just do not like sharp frequencies. Another thing I don't like is flip-flops, rings, bracelets, necklaces most of the time. Simply because I just don't like things over my skin, I guess. I just don't really like things in between my toes or like on my hands. So honestly, if I ever do end up getting married, don't get me a ring. I don't want one. The closest thing I want to a ring is a ring pop because I like those. Um, so yeah. As for things I also do not like, perfectionism, because I have a perfectionism problem, as you will soon see, I'm sure. Because I just overthink a whole lot, and as much as I like it for the most part, it's also a curse. Mainly because I have to work real hard and I try to make everything perfect, but I there's no such thing as perfection. It is literally an impossible paradox, I guess, to do that. It's just unrealistic at best. I also hate being sick, but that's pretty general. I don't like being sick because it keeps me from what I want to do, essentially. Thankfully, though, I don't get sick often. I only get sick like maybe once every other year because I usually just stay inside, to be honest. I don't like hot days because of the sweat. Um, and I wish there was more snow on the ground, but I just don't think that's gonna happen anymore. At least on my side. Um, I mean, there's some here and there, but I don't know. We'll see. Um, where was I? Sorry. I don't like distractions, which is ironic because I am a multitasker. Like I multitask everything I do to a point, but I don't like distractions in the manner of like someone knocking on the door and dragging me out to do random stuff for no reason most of the time. But I usually just ease myself into it because I think it's just me being hyper focused on something, you know? Um, I also don't like the lack of motivation for the same reasons of like being sick, stressed, or burnt out because I want to do stuff. I like doing stuff. But sometimes I just gotta rest, and it sucks because as much as I want to do something that would relax me, I don't have the motivation to even do that. So it sucks sometimes, you know. I don't like grubby hands as it goes with lotion, so don't put. I don't like using graphite. I don't like drawing like and getting stuff on my hands. I'm just not into it, okay? I'm not into it. It is annoying. I do not like it. It's gross for the most part, you know? Like I just don't like dealing with that. I was one of those kids that would hate getting glue on their hands or at the same time I'm also the kid that's like playing with the dried glue on my skin and peeling it off. Like I don't know. It's just like weird and wishy-washy like that, I guess. I also do not like spending money. Mostly cuz I do have money, but I just don't like spending it considering how hard everything else is. So I'm trying to save as much as possible. And trying to be frugal as possible, frankly, because I just don't like spending money really. Um I just don't. That's all I got for that. But one of my biggest things is I hate unclear communication because just tell me what I'm doing wrong. You won't come off as rude. Just let me know what's happening because otherwise, if it's indirect, I'm probably not going to get it. It's going to go right over my head. And then I'm going to be upset when you actually do tell me something was wrong, but you didn't tell me directly or in a calm manner. And I like clear, direct communication. I know it's against like human nature or whatever, but just tell me if I'm doing something wrong or something like that, okay? Just tell me. It's okay. You don't have to be extremely rude about it, but you can just tell me, "Hey, this upset me." That you know what I mean? Like just tell me what's going on. Because if I don't know, I will not do anything to try and support you. You know what I mean? I also really hate doom scrolling, and I sometimes do it because that's how social media is formatted at this point. It wants you to scroll forever. It literally forces you to like stay stuck in the cycle of just scrolling. I hate it. I do fall for it sometimes, but it's not often because I do not use social media that much. I also just don't really like texting on my phone simply because I'm not into it. I prefer typing on a keyboard on my PC. You know, it's just easier. It's more direct, and as much as I can text on my phone, I just don't really text. Like I'll text on Discord if I have to, but like that's it, honestly. Um, and I don't really even use my phone that much. And I also hate alarms, which is pretty makes sense because of the sudden noises thing, but it's mostly the fact that I've been kind of like conditioned to like jerk fully awake before an alarm is set and stuff, and I don't know how that works. But most of the time, it's just it goes along with sudden noises and that it's very loud and such. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the things I dislike. But like, let's go on a more positive note now. And I need another drink. Excuse me. Okay, these are the things that I do like. I like video games, and we'll get more specific in future slides. I also like not safe for work art. Let's be honest. Um, I really like art. I'm an artist, and I really like art. Okay, like as long as even the weird stuff, mostly just to laugh at. But yeah, I like crystals and rocks simply because ooh shiny, and I like the meanings behind them. And my favorite things are like comfort in general. Like I like to wear loose clothing to keep me comfortable. I also very much like fast food. My favorite is like Culver's primarily, but I also like McDonald's and such. I also like cursed memes, but trying not too hard on the shock humor, I think, because I just don't really think it's technically humor in my book, but like go off if that's your thing. I really like having friends. The more the merrier, honestly. I also very much like poetry and writing, which I'm very excited to say that I'm my poems are actually being published in my school magazine this fall. Like I think it's going to be available when I get back to school in like a week or two. Um so yeah. Um I do like writing and poetry, but I just don't do it that often. It's more of like an interest, I guess, which is ironic cuz I don't like reading. Yeah, I like writing. I can read if I'm like stimulated enough, but I just, I already had this talk though. I really like soda. Okay, I am currently addicted to Diet Pepsi. Okay, I know it's not good, but no, I don't think any sodas are really that good. Um, I really like symbolism because um, it has secret meanings that could mean so much with so little. I like lava lamps because of how they like the science of how it works, I guess. I like seeing the bubbles float up and down. I very much love rain. It reminds me of my original home in that the rain over there smells so good. And it always was like my happy place during the darkest points of my life. And I am a cottage cheese fanatic. I will literally eat it with pretty much everything. I promise you, pretty much everything. I've had it with tortilla chips. I've had it with salsa. I've had it with Chef Boyardee. I've had it with pizza. I've had it on pizza. I've had it with soda. Literally just soda on top of it with salt. I'm serious. I am a fanatic of cottage cheese. Okay. I also very much like overthinking of all the overthinking the possibilities of things simply because of what could be created from it, basically. So, like, whenever I'm making ideas, I kind of just go down a rabbit hole and want to research every single detail to make it as realistic as possible. You know what I mean? Like that's great. I also like walking every now and again, and listening to my music, though I haven't been able to do much as of recently, mostly because it's cold out, and honestly, I'm just too lazy. I'm gonna be honest. But when I get the chance to walk even a little bit to like to class, I just like the small in betweens of life like that, you know? I also very much like candy. My favorite is like Skittles. I like um simple Hershey's bars, I guess. Um, and Nerds, I guess. But I usually don't go crazy on sweet stuff, though I do drink Diet Pepsi. So maybe I'm lying to myself. I also really like photography, though I only do it when it strikes me. I don't do it like as a job or anything, but I definitely, when the feeling strikes that I should take a picture of something, I do it. Which isn't often, but I do like it because I seem to have some kind of style in my opinion. But anyway, I also very much like role playing, and no, not the r/creepy asterisks way. I like formal role play, even if the subject could be the same thing, but I don't know. I like role playing and pretending to be something I'm not, you know? It opens the door of how other people exist and how they could exist. And I just like the creativity of that. I also really like water, especially when you're busy during the whole day and you're just chugging that water, especially that tap water. Um, I try not to do tap water, but I like water to a point. I also recently discovered that I really like easy peel oranges, or I guess mandarins would be more accurate. Um, I'm currently addicted to them. So, yeah, I like orange flavored stuff too. So, citrus things could probably likely be added onto this list, to be honest. I really like flexible routines, but not too flexible. Like, I need a little bit of routine, like an idea of what I'm supposed to be doing and being able to do it in that day, but like it doesn't have to be strictly at this hour be done by with this, but like I can definitely do that. Just well, it depends on the task, but essentially I like the flexibility of life in that and I try to balance it out as much as I can. Um I really like self-care even though I don't do it often because I don't really know what self-care really means for me. Um, I guess this could be considered self care because it forces me to be a little more social as well as just like casual and hanging out or opening conversations with others just to hang out, essentially. I like electronic or synthwave type music, at least like with no words or anything. I like listening to that in the background when I want to try and focus primarily on my art, for example. And um, you know, it's just it's kind of relaxing. It's digital. I like the digital feel, and it's honestly better than any popular music or pop music going on right now, to be honest. But again, I could be wrong. I also kind of like organization, but to a point, because I'm a messy type of person. I am messy. I am messy, but I am also very particular about organization. Sorry, I got the hiccups um a little bit there, or a burp, I don't know. I also like warming up, as in just like bundling up in my warm bed and just like laying there and thinking about things and not necessarily sleeping. Yet is which is weird because I did say I do not like falling asleep because of that reason, but like if you're like really cold and you just cuddle on up into your bed, that is like the best feeling, especially when you get very very comfortable, okay? So it's kind of like yes and no on that thing. I also very much like my personal space in that I like to have a space that's mine, that no one would bother, more or less, which is typically my dorm room for the time being. But right now I'm in my mom's like bedroom slash office because I thought it would be the best place to do this debut stream, to be honest. Um, I very much love my family, mostly my mom's side and most of my father's side, but I do not like my dad. I have I have trauma. I have a lot of trauma with that. Which I won't go into here because it's not important. But he's not great. Just trust me, he's just not great. I really like cheese. I love my mom and my sister. Okay, there, I said it. I love them and I love my pets. Um, anyway, I like cheese. If that wasn't already obvious with cottage cheese on this list, I like cheese for the most part. I like cheddars. I like Colby Jack. I like cheddar jacks. Give me the shredded cheese. I will put it in a bowl. I will microwave it and I will eat it. Okay? I've done it before. I can do it again. Do not threaten me. I will do it. I also very much like chains and metal simply because when I was a kid I was one of those kids that would nibble and bite on chains and metal because of that weird like metallic taste. Like you know what I'm talking about, right? Like I don't do it often now. It's more so just the feel and the cold feel of the metal in your hands now, but I also like it as an accessory. Might need to get a new drink here in a second. Anyway, I really I like the feel of chains and stuff is all. I like metals. I like the cold, hard, smooth metals and chains cuz aesthetic, I guess. I also very much like nature, though I'm not in it much because there isn't a lot left to be honest. Um I'm not the hiker type. I'm not like a crazy hiker type of nature lover, but I'm definitely like a casual lover of nature. I also very much like ankle boots. Don't at me. Um, they can look really snazzy on my feet. So yeah, I also really like soggy foods, which would probably disgust most of you, or at least a pretty good chunk of you, which is fine. I just for some reason like soggy foods to a point. Like there's a point where it's too soggy, but like just soggy enough. That busses. Okay, that busses to me. Okay, so yeah. As for my favorites, I think I tend to like life simulation, survival, and online games, adventure, exploration. I think I can get into clicker or indie games or casual and fantasy roleplay games. I don't really know other game genres to the point that I could list all of them, I think. But I just really like casual gaming, I guess. Like the games I have that I plan on streaming, like Slime Rancher 2, GTA 5. I recently bought Skyrim, but I don't know if I'll stream that. We'll see, because I don't know if I really like the game, but it was on sale and I bought it for $8. Okay, like I'll take it. As for media, I tend to really like dark pop, indie, and like electronic dance music, but not like crazy stuff. Like if it's good context, it's good context, you know. Um, as for like music, I would say I like Mother Mother and like artists like Melanie Martinez. Simply because they're very artistic with how they do things. I also like Billie Eilish to a point. Um, I wouldn't say I know many other artists that are in those genres, but I honestly just like dark, gritty, edgy kind of music, but not overly so, to be honest. As for movies, I can't tell you how many times I've watched How to Train Your Dragon, especially the first one. When that first came out, that defined my whole identity. Okay, it took up my whole identity for a solid few years. Okay, I was addicted to Toothless and being not normal, not part of the norm. I loved that movie. Okay, and don't at me about putting Astro Boy on here. I love the Robot Man movie with Nicolas Cage, okay? I like the 3D animation. I know it's cringe. It's for kids. I get that. but I love the concept of a robot willing to sacrifice his life for the people he cares about. You know what I mean? Like I like the juxtaposition of what we would assume a robot to feel like, not even feel, because robots don't feel, as like assumingly, you know. As for shows, I yes, I do like My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. I like the earlier seasons simply because they were a little more grounded. It kind of just fell off near the end, but I still enjoyed it. It's just it was a little weird. I also kind of like Gravity Falls. Finished. I haven't finished it more than once, but I definitely have been kind of watching on and off because my sister's been binging it recently. I also, I very much love Steven Universe. I love that show so much. I know there seems to be a lot of controversy regarding that show, but I'm not here to like argue about it. I just love the heart and love put into it, and I just find it unfortunate that it was rushed, especially at the end. I heard. So yeah, I also very much love Hannibal, simply because it has that psychological horror type feel. It's very like mind bendy, and I really love the first season when it's just like a show of um the characters doing like other murders and such. Like I won't go too much into detail, mostly because I don't remember all of it. But I just like how the beginning was about this guy, the main character, basically in cahoots, right, with Hannibal, and like also like solving murders and such. Like he has some kind of like special gift, I guess. As for games, I haven't played Danganronpa, but I've watched all the Danganronpa games. Um, if that makes me problematic, then I'm sorry. I just really liked how they played with the concepts of despair and hope, and that really defined a lot of myself recently, and that was like the last real fandom that I felt like I was actually in. Going back to like childhood stuff. Oh my god, do I love Fossil Fighters. I hate the third game though. I hate it with a passion, but I still play it because I like it in some weird way. I like it, okay? I like it. I don't know. I also very much like Style Savvy, and I even remember when I first played that game, I had a headache and I was like probably maybe a little sick, and my mom was like way too busy to stay home and was going to be home late or something. So she would take us to the mall to like buy a DS game or something to help like distract us or keep us entertained. And she was an amazing mother. Um she still is. Anyway, as for animes, I'm not crazy about animes. I'm not going to watch like 50 billion animes because most of the time anime is overstimulating for me in terms of how they animate it, as well as like how kind of like jumpy the story is and such. But I do find it very entertaining. And currently I'm watching Bungo Stray Dogs, which I feel like it should definitely be more popular because it's such a great anime. I'm still watching it though, so don't spoil it. But I really like Dazai. I'm gonna be honest. I hate and love him at the same time to a point. He's kind of scary. I also like Attack on Titan, which I didn't finish the ending part because I don't think it's I think it's out somewhere. I'm just too lazy to watch it right now. I'm currently watching Trigun, the like revamped version from 2023, and well, yeah, it kind of gives me the feels of like Arcane in terms of style, and I haven't watched much of it, but I really like how it's set. You know, um, I've watched Disgaea a few times, but I never actually fully finished it. I was very close to finishing it, but I'm just used to the early episodes from when I was a kid, basically, and shown it from someone else. I am drinking ice at this point. My voice is sore, but I'm having so much fun. Okay. Anyway, the animes that I did finish was Elven Lied, which is so dark. I love it. Um, it's just so cool, and I really like the intro. Play that at my funeral, please. Anyway, Trigun, I did finish the movie and the old anime of it, and I loved it. It was entertaining. It wasn't too much. It was great. I also like the Danganronpa animes. Can you blame me? Um, I'm interested in Tokyo Ghoul, but I have only watched like the first episode, maybe the second. That is all I've watched of that. Mostly because I was inspired by the music. It's actually inspiring one of the projects I soon want to make in the future. So yeah. As for snacks, I really like burgers, ribs, and hot pockets. I love burritos, chips, ramen. I like oh yeah, I like Skittles Jolly Ranchers, Reese's, and cookies. And I do like raisin oatmeal cookies, okay? Don't fight me. I also like Snickerdoodle and chocolate chip. As for drinks, I typically go for a Diet Pepsi, sparkling ice, Sprite, and if I have to for caffeine reasons, probably Mountain Dew. But yeah, that's like the general fave list of stuff. As for some goals, I would like to make some connections. That means mostly just having more friends or meeting new people in whatever sense that may mean. I want to establish a decent following and a fan base. I don't expect to make it big. I really don't want to either. I'm more than happy of just, being happy in my cute little bubble, as it were, I actually want to finish a game because I struggle to stay committed to finishing a game because of my perfectionism, as I will assert in the next slide. I would like to finish my avatar sprites and other assets because it is still very much a work in progress and always will be. But I'm just glad of the work I was able to do in such a short amount of time, in my opinion, because I thought I wasn't capable of staying committed to a self-directed project like this primarily, but I was able to do it. And as much as I wanted to finish my 12 sprites or emotions, I did get 4, and I think it's the essential ones, frankly, to be honest. Um, and I will continue to work on them past this stream, obviously. Um, I want to stream with one of my friends or a friend in general. I want to figure out how that may work in some way. It doesn't even have to be that serious. It could just be like very casual or something like that. And I would also like to learn new things to better myself because we're always growing whether we like it or not. So I'd much rather evolve and change with society or life in general. And I always like learning new things in my life, like just from experience, essentially. Um, you know what I mean? Like just like in general. I just like learning from experience. And as much as I can research stuff, it's just not as fun as like coming upon it. But if I need to do research, I could most likely do it pretty well. I would like to make some good art because I am a creative and I'm about to graduate from school and I'm terrified, but I'll figure something out and I'm kind of excited to be honest. Just one more semester of grueling, just overworked with all the things I'm doing, I would like to figure out how Twitch works because I still don't really understand what subscriptions are. I don't know how emotes work. I don't know how moderators work. I don't know how to do anything like that. And while I do have a Discord, I don't know. Again, I don't know how mods work. I don't know what to do about all that, to be honest. And I don't know how donations work. I don't know if how they work tax wise, etc. So yeah, I'm just trying to establish myself, as it were, officially now, and making moves to get myself out there a bit more to try and make something of myself. But I'm not really expecting the greatest. In fact, I'm scared about growing too big because I just don't like the idea of suddenly shooting up to having millions of people knowing me. That's just weird to me. And I'm scared of what money would do to me if I got rich and stuff. I just want to be me. I don't want to lose myself to it. So yeah, I'm scared to be famous, but I do like talking to people and such for the most part. As for what to expect in my streams, frankly, I'm just going to be restarting games constantly because of perfectionism. That's just how I roll. Sorry, I can't help it. Um, Probably awkward pauses because I do space out every once in a while, but mostly the slideshow has mostly kept me very like on what's the word I'm looking for? Very like directing how I think because I'm looking at it as I talk. Um, I just like casual banter and conversation in general, as awkward or as beautiful as it could be. You know what I mean? I just like existing for the most part. Um, you'll probably expect me to cuss if you haven't already noticed. Kind of part of my natural language, basically. And fuck, my throat hurts. I need after this. I'm gonna go get a drink real fast. Um, just yeah, I'm just gonna do that real fast. I might even end stream for a bit and then return. Um, so yeah, I'm mostly going to be doing PC games and art streams because I did experiment a little bit with console games. Simply like throughout the summer, and I don't have a screen capture device, so I literally just used my laptop camera to play Xbox games and some Wii near the end. I might still do that, but I don't know. I might try and figure out if I can't screen record or something along those lines, basically. But generally speaking, I'm going to be on my PC playing PC games. Um, and mostly just the games that I have right now. That kind of thing. So yeah, I know I'm probably pretty boring in terms of like me restarting stuff, but you never know what might happen. So I guess I like the possibilities of what could happen. And with that, we finally come to the end. And if you want to follow me on most social media, it will be basically most just go with my actual like stream handle. The only one that doesn't is Twitter, but like I don't use social media, so frankly, the most active social media I guess that I use is technically Discord, and you can join my Discord in the links below. But no pressure. And also please don't cause any issues because I don't know how to moderate stuff, but I can easily ban you if I do not like you. Okay? So just be respectful, chill out, have some fun. Let's hang out. Um and later today I will probably post the first chapter of lore into one of the channels and maybe work on it, to be honest. We'll see though. We'll see. I might need a relaxation break after this, to be honest. Anyway, that's the end of my debut. I'm gonna end stream simply because it's easier for me to download and keep this to upload to YouTube. So I'll be back in like 10 minutes or so. Maybe get a drink, have some backup drinks with me, and things like that. Um, Goodbye, and thank you for being here. Or thanks for even listening in, honestly. Okay, see you in a second.